For thousands of years, one simple rule governed money. If you could hold it in your hand, it was real. Gold needed no permission. Silver required no trust. No king or government could change their value with a decree. And then, in a single generation, that rule disappeared. Not through revolution, not through war, but through quiet decisions, technical language, and agreements no one noticed. Today, money has no weight, no natural limit, no physical anchor. So here's the mystery. When gold lost its power, who gained it? For most of history, gold was not just money, it was a restraint. Kings could mint coins, but they could not create gold. Empires could tax, but they could not print wealth. If rulers spent too much, the treasury emptied. If wars dragged on, funding ran out. Gold imposed discipline, restrained ambition, and punished bad policy. But it also created a problem. Gold made governments accountable. Accountability is inconvenient for those in power. So a new idea slowly emerged. What if money did not need to be gold itself, as long as it was promised to be? By the 17th century, banks issued paper claims on gold. At first, every note represented real metal in a vault. A paper was easier than gold, easier to move, easier to lend. Soon, more claims existed than gold. Governments realized something important. With paper money, they could finance wars without raising taxes immediately. They could spend now and pay later. Central banks emerged as managers of this system. Not just guardians of gold, but guardians of belief. As long as people trusted redemption, the system worked, till the 20th century broke it. World War I shattered gold discipline. Countries suspended convertibility to fund armies. After the war, they tried to return, but debts were too large, currencies too damaged. The gold standard no longer fit the world it had created. Then came the Great Depression. Banks collapsed. Gold vanished into hordes. Confidence disappeared. In 1933, the United States confiscated private gold. Citizens were forced to surrender it. After World War II, a new system was built. Bretton Woods. The dollar would be backed by gold. Other currencies would be backed by the dollar. On paper, gold still ruled. In reality, power had shifted. Only governments could redeem gold.
Out.
What percent cement Bronson? The United States exported dollars faster than gold could support them. By the 1960s, the numbers no longer matched. Foreign governments demanded metal, the vaults drained, and then in 1971, the final link was cut. In a short television address, President Nixon ended gold convertibility. No more redemption, no more anchor. From that moment on, every major currency became pure fiat. Money was no longer tied to anything physical, only to government authority and public confidence. This was not a technical change, it was a civilizational shift. Once gold was gone, debt exploded. Governments borrowed without restraint. Central banks created money digitally. Financial markets grew faster than the real economy. Before 1971, global debt grew slowly. After 1971, it accelerated rapidly. Asset prices detached from wages. Crises became frequent. Without gold, money became policy, not scarcity. Whoever controlled policy controlled outcomes. This was not chaos. Gold once imposed discipline. Fiat removed it. When limits vanished, power centralized. Systems without limits do not collapse suddenly. They drift. They inflate. And one day, confidence breaks. Not because gold disappeared, but because belief did. If you want to understand modern money, remember this. The most important financial revolutions never announce themselves. They happen quietly. While everyone is still using yesterday's assumptions,